parallel dimensions. We're used to operating in the world of matter, the three-dimensional world. This world is of space and time, and it's characterized by space and time. In this realm, our experiences are defined by the movement of our body through space, which is how we experience time. The three-dimensional world is ruled by matter. We use our memories and experiences from the past to be able to predict how things will play out in the future. When we are in our familiar past or the predictable future, we are living in the known. Our goal, however, is to live eternally in the now, the home of the unknown, where all possibilities exist. In our three-dimensional world, there are two fundamental qualities that define the experience: duality and separation. We all perceive ourselves individually as separate from everything around us and separate from others. This sense of separation creates the illusion of time and space. Our identity is rooted in this play of life, in this play of separation. And we see ourselves as distinct, autonomous individuals, separate from others in the world around us. This mindset keeps us anchored in the 3D, where we are constantly reacting to external environments and trying desperately to control our circumstances. There is no physical distance between any dimension at all. Instead, there are only veils of forgetfulness that section off our consciousness. These veils enable us to experience the human experience here in the third dimension and to focus on this dimension and the experiences we have. If there were no veils, our consciousness would not be able to dial in to this specific experience like we are doing now. This world of matter we are experiencing is by nature very physical. However, all of the dimensions you are wishing to access, in analogy we could say, are overlaid on top of each other, all here now. We tune into each of them similar to tuning into a radio. Accessing a specific dimension, however, is based on a frequency, like you are tuned in to this dimensional world of matter now. This world we are experiencing, this world experience of senses, is only a fraction of what is out there. If you take a look at the electromagnetic spectrum, we're only able to perceive a small bit of what actually exists that is reflected in the colours of the rainbow. There are tons of other frequencies out there, from the frequency of the television, radio, to infrared, ultraviolet, and gamma. If you want to eat food, go out in nature, or do something physical, this is the dimension you need and want to be in to experience that. However, if you would like to experience the fifth dimension, it is a totally different vibration. It's a higher vibrating state of being, which makes it less dense. The fifth dimension is more malleable and less fixed, since we aren't locked into one form. Because the laws of the fifth dimension aren't the same as the laws of the third. Example, communication isn't done vocally, but telepathically. It is more of a heart-centered form of telepathy than a mental one. This should change the way now you look at the world. Every particle in the universe is just a string vibrating at a different frequency. Every particle in the universe is just a string of vibration at different frequencies. Every vibrational pattern has its own associated particle. The journey from someone to no one, self-awareness, self-inquiry. In the beginning, we strongly identify with our individual self, our thoughts, emotions, and physical body. This is when your somebody, something, somewhere, and sometime, as someone, is rooted in this three-dimensional experience. As we go into experimental experiences, we detach ourselves from the world and the physical senses, and this includes our personal identity. We then become nobody, no thing, nowhere, no time, as no one, shedding the layers of our ego and becoming pure consciousness, which then shifts the veils from the other dimensional experiences. For you to move beyond these illusionary limitations of this three-dimensional world, we actually need to disassociate from everything known. Drop it. Let it all go. What you think you know, who you think you are. We do this by opening our focus from a narrow known to a broad unknown, from a narrow focus on matter to an unknown focus on space and energy. By doing this, we then slow down our brainwaves. Now, this process helps us to go from beta to alpha and eventually to theta brainwave. In this state, we become no one, disconnected from the 3D world, and we enter a space of nothingness as pure consciousness. Remember, in order for us to do that, a person has to go from a narrow focus on matter and begin to widen their focus, broaden their focus on nothing but space, on nothing, on a void of emptiness. When you do this, you begin to open your awareness. You start sensing space. You are no longer thinking. This is the only way to access parallel dimensions, as you're no longer thinking, you're no longer analyzing. So if you're no longer analyzing, you're no longer activating the circuits in your brain, the ego, the identity, the one you think you know about, the one you think you are. This character, let's say, is off stage. When you are no longer activating these circuits in your brain, you begin to suppress the memory of this known identity. It just drops. As you start opening up your awareness through this process, your brainwaves also start to change from beta to alpha. Then you start crossing the bridge between the unconscious mind and the subconscious mind. The bridge is the analytical mind, which separates them both. You now enter the subconscious mind. In this experience, you are truly in the present moment. You forget that you're a man or a woman, who you are, your co-workers, your past, your future, your problems, the things you possess. When you are truly present, truly in this present moment, you go from putting your attention on your body, your environment, and time to becoming nobody, no one, no time, nowhere, no thing. You become a thought alone and endless possibilities. When you enter this state of presence, you are no longer bound by the limitations of our physical reality. You are able then to access other dimensions. As we move beyond the constraints of space and time, this in itself allows us to tap into the infinite possibilities that exist. As you experience the field, the dimension where no time exists, it opens up the infinite possibilities. This state of being allows us to tap into the power of the conscious field and create from a place of wholeness, from abundance. where there is no separation, there is no physical, there is no material. Let us use an analogy to demystify what I'm talking about. Let's take away now everything physical in the material universe. Do it now. The TVs, the computers, the floor, the people, the cars, the sky, the planets, the sun. Take everything away. Just drop it now. Just remove it all. What are you left with? Nothing, no thing. It turns out that nothing is filled with a lot of energy and frequency. The planets, the cars, the people. It is a space that contains different energizing frequencies that bring in shape and form. This space is what many call the 0 point field, or the quantum field, or the unified field, or the void, the source. When you can linger in this place without an identity, the thoughts, feelings, and ideas you have about yourself, without a body or name, without any problems, past or future, you are entering your true state of pure consciousness. It's at this point something deeply profound happens to your brain. There is a difference between fifth dimensional consciousness and the fifth dimension. The fifth dimension is the actual space-time arena, and the fifth dimensional consciousness is referring to our level of awareness. Fifth dimensional consciousness is where we start to anchor, put our roots into the oneness. This is why it is also called unity consciousness. Although we go through several degrees of the spiritual awakening, the one where things really get started is when we start awakening to the reality of oneness. Let's expand upon the fifth dimension. In fifth dimensional creation, the process is not at all like three-dimensional creation. Your thoughts, feelings, and emotions create your reality. And because your thoughts, feelings, and emotions are coming from the ego mind, you create a distorted filter upon reality. In the fifth dimensional creation, the process is not about such physicality. It is not about obtaining or desiring something to improve oneself. Instead, it involves combining a clear intention, a coherent thought, and a harmonious brainwave pattern. This experience, the change of character, the change in the divine comedy, this new chapter, Dolores Cannon explained with such clarity, I will use it here. She spoke about as we embark on a transformative journey from 3D to 5D consciousness, a venture that leads us beyond our traditional understanding of reality. This profound shift, intricately explored through her teachings, is not merely a change in perception, but signifies a fundamental evolutionary shift in consciousness. Within this state of understanding the so-called mechanics of the fifth dimensional creation, you no longer need to physically travel to acquire your desires. Instead, you bring the experience to you by collapsing space and time. This shift in consciousness will help us to navigate and understand such a transition by opening doors to new dimensions of being and understanding. As we delve into this exploration, we are venturing into the domain where mystery and profundity are the guides that light our passage and lead us beyond the physical into the metaphysical, where the vibrational changes occurring within and around us signal the dawn of a new earth. This journey will be unique to each one of us and is a shared experience, as it then unites us for a deeper understanding of the universe and our place within it.